Alright, here we are. We made it. Welcome to what I think is probably going to be the final episode of Vampire the Masquerade. I almost said Bloodlines. Coteries of New York. I did another fun little vampire cosplay for today. I tried to do some like smeared blood-ish like down like the sides of my mouth, so like, you know, like it gave like the illusion of like a messy vampire feeder. Unfortunately, I didn't have any fake blood, so I had to use my lipstick. I don't know if it I don't know if it shows. I think it's a little too light and maybe just a little too purpley to look like blood. But alas, I did what I could with the resources I had. I also made myself a new name tag for the Halloween season. It's spooky themed, and I love it so much. I'm kind of obsessed with it. Hopefully, you can read it okay. So, before we get started, as always, just some quick housekeeping in the chat. Exclamation point, map in the chat stands for Medical Aid for Palestinians. The link will lead you to the Medical Aid for Palestinians website where you can learn more about the organization. Basically does what it says on the tin, gets very much needed medical aid and supplies to Palestinians. Please, please, please donate if you can. It is very, very important. Also, like, for situations when the aid isn't making it into Gaza, which I think it might be now, like the news with that's kind of off and on, but I do know that like MAP has also been using their resources to help Lebanon and set up like emergency camps, I think nearby like the Rafah border and like in Egypt and other places, and also I think they've been working in the West Bank as well, so it's still a very good resource to donate to for Palestinians. But you can also look for vetted fundraisers, GoFundMes. That way you can donate directly to Palestinians in need and be sure that your money is going directly to them. So that's very important, but donating is all well and good. What's really essential, of course, is we need to be actively trying to put a stop to this. So that's where BDS comes in. Exclamation point BDS in the chat. Stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions. The link will lead you to the BDS website where you can learn more about the BDS movement. It's basically a call from Palestinians to the international community to boycott Israeli goods, divest from Israeli institutions, and attempt to place sanctions on the Israeli government. Also, it's very important, especially if you're going to attending a university or like you have a job, whatever company you're working for, whatever university you're attending, like it's important to be trying to like collectively organize with your coworkers / fellow students / other people to try and get them to divest from like arms companies in general, but especially like, yeah. So we're on night 13, which might mean that this is getting close to the end. I don't actually know how many nights we're gonna have for this. Okay. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. She takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Ash. There is a matter of great importance that I need to ask for you to resolve for me. You will find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important Anarch figure in NYC and arrange a meeting for us. She wants to meet with the Anarchs? That is fucking surprising. Aren't meetings with Anarchs forbidden? Wait, I'm pretty sure we are not supposed to meet with Anarchs. We're at war, right? The prince does look unfavorably at those who meet with the Anarchs, that much is true. You will find out with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent in them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, while others are kept in secret as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. Torque? think it's... I'm gonna go with Torque. He is an influential member of the movement, and like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. How do I know he'll talk to me? How do I know he'll even talk to me? He won't. Not yet, anyway. You'll need to start further down the chain, and with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak with Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. Lovely name. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an Anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place of belonging. Only after you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting. I don't know, it sounds risky. I don't know, Sophie. It sounds very risky. What if they've heard of me? What if I slip up and mention you by accident? I leave the approach to your discretion, but know that you have to accomplish this on your own. I cannot involve myself, as there is just too much at stake. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again, until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Qadir, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. I'll do my best. Okay, I'll do my best. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously not a word about this to anyone else, not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belays that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently, it's some kind of heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. Alright. Hopefully this isn't just like launching me into like the final mission or whatever, and I get to actually like finish up what I was doing, because I still need to finish the stuff at the end. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. God. The noise hurts your ears. The venue isn't suitable for this kind of music, and none of the instruments sound the way they should. The cacophony sets you on edge. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together, and the smell of their sweet and youthful excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about Anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have your short encounter in Corona Park on which to base your actual opinion of the faction. It might have just been a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up just in case. Yeah, hard to say. The Anarchs can be a mixed bag. In Bloodlines, they're all like really chill. Like, it's clear the game really wants you to like them, and then in Swansong, much less so. Let's use aspects. Try to locate me on the ground. Sharpening your senses in a place like this is a huge gamble. You try doing it slowly, bit by bit, so the loud sounds and lights don't dull your perception. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. Whoops. Your face flashes before your eyes in the mosh pit that just formed in front of the stage. Were those fangs? You're pretty sure you saw fangs on one of the girls. A short pause in the music lets you take a closer look. Yeah. She's different from the others. You notice small details. No perspiration, paleness of her skin. There goes nothing. Heard you're into anarchy. Alright, let's try this. Heard you're into anarchy. I didn't think he was gonna say it like that, Jesus. I heard this is the spot to meet hot chicks who hate the patriarchy. Anarchs, you could say. Oh, seriously? That's the best line you came up with? Like, what voice am I doing for her? I could do, like, another, like, deadpan, like, B-type voice. Like, oh, seriously? That's the best line you came up with? She doesn't smile, but she doesn't hit you either. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table, and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. You take a seat as the woman leans against one of the walls. The name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so you're either new in New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So, before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? Well, we're not supposed to mention Sophie's name. Hi, young man. It's been a while. Hey, welcome to stream. How are you doing? I did a little cheeky vampire cosplay today because I've been doing it for the past few streams because I've been playing Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. I don't know if you know much about Vampire the Masquerade, but basically it's just like, well, it's about vampires, like all the different rules that they have for like keeping themselves secret from humans and like keeping themselves safe and alive and all that fun stuff. Doing well, yeah, cool makeup. Thanks, I'm glad to hear you're doing well. I think that we were supposed to say that we're part of the Camarilla, but we're looking to switch. I don't know, this could go badly. Camarilla, but I'm looking to switch. Camarilla, I guess, but I'm looking to switch. Is that so? She looks you up and down. It's hard to read her. Looked like you were rocking a goatee in the thumbnail, though, which would have been cool as well. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know how successful the, like, smeared blood stains on the mouth were. Like, I had to use my lipstick because I don't have any fake blood. And I don't have very good dexterity or, like, coordination or whatever because I have dysgraphia, so anytime I do, like, any, like, relatively complicated makeup looks, it's always with, like, varying success, and also, like, there's also the fact that I haven't shaved, like, my chin hair in a while, so I do have not necessarily a goatee, but a bit of something in some spots if you look closely, but that might not have shown up on camera. But anyways, yeah. She looks you up and down. It's hard to read her. Okay, sure. I'll bite. Let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me in the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy death much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Right. Here's the pitch. The Camarilla likes to think they're the vanilla option, what with the prince bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge, but New York has never been a fully cami city. They might have won the city in '99, but cams have had their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while before I saw the Camarilla for what they are, a way to keep us all subservient and in line. See, everything she's saying sounds great, sounds fine, like 10 out of 10, but then, like, they kind of tend to have this very, like, vampire superiority attitude. I mean, all vampires do, but, like, it's just kind of hard to take them seriously when they preach, like, power to the people and, like, communism and shit, and, like, community, and then, like, they exploit, like, human beings, the kind, if you will, to their own gain. The way all vampires do, it's like, that doesn't fly with me. The Ivory Tower will tell you that they're the only safeguard for the traditions, and that's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. The Masquerade, obviously. Anything else? Ask the prince and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade, but really it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the Masquerade. Community, yes, but authority, not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down when they step on her toes. Yeah, like, in theory, like, all this sounds great. Like, she said, like, this sounds good, but it's like I said, like, you can't always trust the Anarchs, necessarily, which is unfortunate. Never really know how it's gonna go. She takes a brief break from her indignant rant. Sounds too good to be true. That sounds too good to be true. Mia bares her teeth in a predatory smile. You better believe it. Sure, we still have to struggle with the urges of our kind, but it's safer and more fair. We're as free as our condition permits. But unlike Autarchus? I have no idea how to pronounce that. Anarchs? We don't stand alone. Oh, are they like independent vampires that aren't aligned with anyone? Because, like, I know like the, what do you call it? Root word, I guess, means, like, self, I think. Because I was trying to look up where, like, the word autism comes from, because I'm autistic, and I was curious, and it has something to do with self. Which, to me, still doesn't make sense, but whatever. Is this your Halloween season game? It's one of them, yeah. Once I finish this, I'm going to be playing the Mortuary Assistant on Thursday, which I have played before. It's a really good game, but I wanted to play it on stream. And I want to do another playthrough of the Quarry. I've played it a few times, but I want to do another playthrough of the Quarry because Sarah from Game Assist recently played it, and it reactivated my hyperfixation. So I want to do another playthrough where I try and infect everyone with lycanthropy and try and make as many werewolves as possible. Okay, Anarchs. The Unbounded. Vampires who remain outside the larger kindred society of a given society, or a given city, I can't read, either by ignorance or choice, usually considered Anarchs by members of the Camarilla, though most Unbound have nothing to do with the movement. Yeah, I was right. See? Knowing root words in English helps sometimes. Still a bullshit language, though. The Ivory Tower, another name for the Camarilla. Well, that's simple. I probably could have figured that out based on context clues. Not even sure that needed a dictionary definition. Big brain. Thanks. I read that already. Nominally, a guy by the name of Callahan has been overseeing the movement's... Right, I forgot to do her voice. Has been overseeing the movement's agenda in New York City for the past few decades. Most follow his lead. Most but not you? Make it sound like it's most, but not you? Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in this city, you might need to go through Callahan, but if you're serious about the Anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, but not least due to the fact that he's backstabbed more than his How come I can't read today? Jesus, he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. It's okay, Steve. Hi. Good. It's a good thing you're here. I had another person doing promotion in the chat earlier, but I just blocked them because I was too lazy to do the whole, like, hey, don't do that in my chat spiel. Maybe it was kind of unfair because, like, I didn't have the, like, introductory post up. But whatever, I just didn't want to deal with it. I should probably remember to post that before I start the stream. Anyways. So he's doing what any other old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out. Intimidation is in. Tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. Ew. Don't do that. Don't spit on the ground. It's so disgusting. Like, if you want to show your disgust at something, you can literally do anything else other than, like, hacking up bodily fluid in my presence. Just, sorry, that really bothers me. If you spent some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies are at this point. No, you need to contact Torg. And when you know it, it's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. Why Torg? Torg, huh? Why him? The bots don't read that, though, yet. Yeah, it's hard to say if they're bots or not sometimes, which does not, like, is not a favorable thing to say about someone, I know, but, like, hey, like, I call it like I see it. Like, if someone can't tell you apart from a bot, then that's probably on you. That's probably a time for you to, like, reflect on your behavior online. Because he's one of the good guys, or at least as good as we leeches can be. Torg is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but he's doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Torg is taking it like a champ. Smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be way back then. If the stories are to be believed, anyway. You want to meet him? I'm gonna require a show of goodwill first. I don't know why I started with that so much. I was expecting it to be a show of good faith, and then it wasn't, and then my brain just panicked. You ever have that when, like, you're expecting a sentence to go in a certain direction, but then it doesn't, and your reading process just completely gets derailed, and it's like you can no longer comprehend language? Or am I just autistic? What do you have in mind? What do you have in mind? That's fair, what do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half-smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you and we'll take it from there. No, come on. I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar, and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torg. That happens to me as well, but I have Asperger's, so maybe it's not the norm. Thing is it's basically all autism. I know you might have been told differently, but depending on, like, where you live and also when you were diagnosed, but, like, well, I can give you the psychiatric spiel, but, like, in 2015, basically, they combined all the like, I wasn't officially diagnosed with autism either, technically. I was diagnosed with something called, pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, which was basically under the autism umbrella, just like Asperger's, but, like, it wasn't, like, considered, like, autism TM, autism squared, if you will, because they were using functioning labels and, like, an understanding of functioning on, like, an autism scale almost, from, like, less autistic to more autistic, to see, like, who got that diagnosis. And it's deeply problematic for a whole host of ways. First of all, because, like, it's not, functioning labels are, well, first of all, that's not really how autism works. Like, people have strengths and weaknesses, and yes, some people are intellectually disabled, and some people, like, have, like, more struggles than others, but, like, it's not a question of, like, functioning necessarily. It's a question of how much support you need, and framing it as like functioning is like, well, first of all, calling somebody low functioning, a lot of people feel that that's like very offensive in a lot of ways, as I'm sure you can imagine. And also calling somebody high functioning is kind of like, I personally find it to be offensive as well, because like I don't function highly. Like it gives the impression that like I'm like basically not even disabled and I function well, and like I handle things really well and I don't really need any help, which isn't necessarily the case. Like there are some things that I find sometimes I can do well and other times not so much. It's all very subjective. That's the problem with these kinds of labels. It's like it's all very subjective, and it's all very like, for me especially, very fluctuating. Like sometimes it honestly depends on the day, like how hard I find certain things and how much I struggle. And also, like, fundamentally, like, how much sleep I get also usually plays a factor, but I think that's true for basically everyone. I got a diagnosis maybe 5 years ago, so I should just say autism. I would say so, yeah. Also, like I don't like to tell people specifically how they should identify, because that's usually a very personal decision, but, like, I find it's just easier, and, like, also, the term Asperger's, a lot of people don't know this, comes from Hans Asperger, who is a Nazi, who basically, when they were rounding up the disabled people to put in concentration camps, basically sorted people into, like, what he called basically, like, high functioning and low functioning. People that could hold down a job and, like, present, like, and mask well enough as allistic, as not autistic, to be useful to capitalism and be, like, functional in society, i.e., like I said, contribute to capitalism, because they could hold down a job and people who couldn't, and then they executed the people who couldn't, which is very sad and dark. But yeah, it's a part of our history, and that's where the term Asperger's syndrome comes from. So a lot of people feel like it's something that, for that reason, we should probably retire. Also, like all those other the other reasons that I just mentioned. But yeah, also I'm not from an English-speaking country. Yeah, it's totally fine. I get it. Like a lot of people, like, they get their diagnosis and they don't really like learn a lot about this stuff because doctors don't tell you, because they're not a lot of the times they're not a part of the autistic community, a lot because they're not autistic, so like they don't know a lot of this stuff that like people who are heavily involved in like disability politics would learn about, and also like the things that we often like discuss as a community and debate. And like obviously we're not a monolith, not everyone agrees on everything, but I'm just sorry, I'm almost getting like eyeliner on my eyelid. Sorry, I also have ADHD. I don't know if you've noticed. I get very distracted very easily. I'm glad to be educated about it. I had no idea. I'm glad that you're glad. Sometimes people get defensive when you try and teach them new things, which I can also kind of understand, because, like, you know, emotions, people get attached to certain things or certain ways of thinking, and they don't want things to change a lot of the times, especially when they're autistic. Alright, so that's half of the night gone. I think we can still try and finish up with D'Angelo, which I really want to, because I want to get him on our side. Also, is there a quarterback? I thought I dealt with him. Oh my god. Frank Doherty, a shining example of journalistic excellence, is trying to get in touch with you. This can't mean anything good. Christ alive. This man does not know when to quit. But I really need to see D'Angelo. Dead End Blues. It's been some time since your last visit at Red Hook. You should probably get back to D'Angelo and see if he's managed to figure out how to handle Sana. Right, so Sana is this thin blood. Basically, thin bloods are like vampires who have not enough vampire blood, like too much human blood, so they don't really manifest their powers properly. And they can still, in a lot of times, age and have children, and I think maybe even eat human food. I'm not quite clear on that, but they're a lot more human than the average vampire, and they're shunned by a lot of vampire society because of that. Anyways, Sana has been murdering people, basically. She's gone full serial killer, and no one's really sure why. It seems like she might have had some kind of psychotic break. She's not really making a lot of sense, but like, D'Angelo, this vampire, this Nosferatu vampire, basically Nosferatus are these vampires who have what you might call traditionally disfigured and what mainstream human society would call frightening appearances. D'Angelo is significantly less so than most Nosferatus, to be honest. It's yeah, but anyways. So yeah, we gotta figure out what to do with Sana, because I don't think he wants to turn her in, because she's gonna get executed if they find out that she's been doing this. And I understand not wanting to kill this girl who might just be, like, having a hard time. As you make your way up the stairs, you notice that D'Angelo's office is surprisingly quiet. You were half expecting something akin to a scene from The Exorcist, with Sana belching out curses and your companion sprinkling her with, well, whatever it is vampires use for holy water. What you witness instead, as you open the door, is the picture of Serenity. The girl, although still curled up in the corner, is sitting calmly with her eyes fixed on the pages of some pulpy detective novel. She doesn't even register your presence. Sitting behind his desk, D'Angelo seems to be looking over some files, puffing on his usual brand of cigar. Seeing no trace of Larson, you assume he must have gone back to his family. Yeah, Larson's another thin blood. Noticing your presence, the vampire detective leans back in his chair and gives you a tired look. Hey there, kid. Glad you could make it. Any luck with Sana? You managed to get anything out of her? Same old, mumble mumble, ominous non sequitur. But I do know one thing. She might not be all there. He pats himself on the forehead in an utterly unnecessary attempt to illustrate the point. Yeah, I get it. But she's not all gone, either. Well, yeah, people rarely are. That's not how brains work. That's not how the human psyche works. I think there's still hope for this girl. Anyway, I've been going over the case files, mulling over our options. Surprise, surprise, they all suck a donkey dick. No matter how we go about this, someone gets fucked over. Her, Larson, us. What options do we have? Okay, then lay it on me. What options do we have? Okay, let's polish this turd. Here's how I see it. 1, we grab Sana and take her to Elysium and make a case for her to Prince Panhard. Yeah, she's not gonna listen to us. The prince isn't gonna want to spare her. She doesn't strike me as the type of person to be swayed by, oh please, she's going through a lot. I don't think she's in her right mind. She just needs help. Please don't murder her. Please don't ask your sheriff to cut her head off and execute her. Like, she doesn't strike me as the type to be, like, swayed by those kinds of arguments. So I don't think that's not going to work. I don't think that's going to work. 2, we get Valerie to back off by feeding her the dirt I got on Larson. Yeah, or we could give up Larson, who's the thin blood primogen. They call it a primogen, basically the person who represents their vampire clan in, like, the vampire government. Kind of like a senator, I guess you could say. Although senators don't really represent the people, and neither does any of the people in government. 3, we try to get Sana out of the city. Yeah, I think I vote number 3, but we might be in trouble if we try and smuggle her out. Okay, yeah, because if we say we just lost her, then we're gonna be in massive trouble. Come on, kid. I can hear them thoughts bouncing around in your head from over here. Out with it. Elysium, isn't that a death sentence? What do you have on Larson? Get out of the city, and then what? Well, I want to know all of these, but... Elysium, isn't that a death sentence? You want to bring Sana to Elysium. Isn't that pretty much a death sentence? Pretty much, but not quite. If we can get an audience with Panhard, we might be able to convince her to spare Sana's life. Yeah, I'm not banking on that. The prince isn't as much of a hard ass as some would like her to be. She'd probably rather avoid further alienating the Dustborn community. And that said, if we run into Qadir, we're as good as fucked. Yeah. Oh, we can't ask the others. Okay, get her out of the city and then what? Assuming we can get her out of the city, what makes you think she won't kill again? Hey, I ain't just gonna let her loose in another state and forget about it. Yeah, that's the thing. How do you even get a vampire psychiatric help? And, like, psychiatry is, like, a mixed bag in general, and, like, has its whole host of issues, even for humans. But, like, yeah, what are we gonna do about her? I got some people up north, people I can trust. They might be able to help her. At the very least, keep her safe and make sure she doesn't do anything stupid. Okay, time's a wasting. What do you think we should do? You're letting me decide? Wait, you're letting me make the call? Look, kid, I've been at it all day, mulling it over, and all I got for my trouble was a splitting headache. I just don't know anymore. All I'm asking for is your honest opinion. Just pick one and make a case. Convince me it's the right thing to do. Or the least wrong, at least. So one more time. Bring the girl to Elysium, trade her life for Larson's, or sneak her out of town. Which one would you go with? I doubt we're going to be able to convince the prince not to kill her. Like, as much as she may not want to alienate the Duskborn Thin-Blood community, Qadir's gonna want her dead. And I don't think it's gonna go over well. Like, putting your faith and trust in the law and the system rarely ever goes well. Like, statistically speaking, I'm laughing, but it's true. And, like, I'm just, like, I am inherently, like, influenced by my feelings on that. But I know trying to get her out of the city is risky because, like, we could get in a lot of trouble. But I don't believe in, like, having anyone be executed for anything. So I don't feel good about trading in Larson either. Regardless of what he did. Oh, let's get her out of the city. Let's try to get her out. Maybe we can put her on a train without anyone noticing. Maybe we can get her some help when she's out of harm's way. That's a lot of maybes. What if we get caught? What if a fit comes over her on the way? What if she kills again? You're willing to live with that? I guess I gotta be. Right? I guess I gotta take that risk. I mean, anytime... That's the thing about transformative justice, right? I mean, there's a whole host of variables that no one really loves, but there's the fact that trust, right? You gotta trust that if someone's gonna redeem themselves, then they're not gonna do the things that they're not supposed to do anymore. Thing is, I don't even know if, like, because there's so many maybes about this. Like he said, like, we don't know why she's doing what she's doing. We don't know about any of this. But I can't turn her in, so they better be. So be it. Fuck. Do me a favor, kid. Watch her for a few minutes, okay? I gotta make some arrangements, make a few calls. He catches himself, looks at you with an expression of the phoniest of phony guilt. But not, like, with a phone or anything, because, you know, that would make me a naughty boy, which I'm clearly not. Right, because we're not allowed to have technology, I think, technically, or phones. But I'm not gonna turn him in. He walks out of the office. Through the frosted windows, you see him instantly go for his clamshell phone. Screw it, does it really make a difference at this point? You turn to the girl who still has her nose in the book. So is that book any good? I don't usually go for this sort of stuff. It just leaves me cold. She looks up from the book and her eyes glaze over. Cold. A shiver runs down your spine. You decide it's best to leave her to her reading and spend the next few minutes in complete silence. Finally, D'Angelo staggers back into the room. Alright, I called in a favor with my friends from up north. They're sending someone to get Sana once she's out of the city. All we need to do is get her on a train. He walks over to Sana and crouches beside her. Speaking softly, he takes the book out of her hands and gently strokes her head. Hey, darling. I need you to listen very carefully. We're gonna go on a little trip, okay? You need to stay quiet and stay close to me. Can you do that? She squints, trying her best to concentrate, then nods emphatically. Well, alright then. He turns to you and nods as well. Looks like it's go time. Christ, I'm stressed about this. The nearby metro station serves as a good starting point for Sana's getaway, crowded enough to blend in, but not enough to lose sight of the girl. You take the escalator and make your way up the platform. Minutes pass in tense silence as you wait for the train to arrive. Finally, the steel behemoth worms its way onto the station. D'Angelo turns to Sana, grabbing her by the shoulders to get her attention. All right, Sana. Listen to me very carefully. This train will get you out of the city. A friend of mine will meet you at the last stop. You'll know it's him because he'll say my name. Remember my name? She squints, trying her best to concentrate. D'Angelo. Close enough. Something akin to a smile creeps onto her face. It's close to happy as you've seen her. Gift, not hurt. D'Angelo returns her smile. You're welcome. And with that, she walks onto the train. She stops for a moment. She looks back and gives you one last look of hope. As she disappears amongst the other passengers, D'Angelo lets out a grunt of relief. Shit. Suddenly you feel a hand on your shoulder. Gentle at first, it quickly turns into a vice grip. You look at D'Angelo and notice a hand on his shoulder as well. Oh, fucking Christ, it's Qadir. God fucking damn it. Fuck. I knew this was gonna bite me in the ass. I knew it was gonna bite me in the ass, and I still did it anyways. Damn it. Hi! New person. I think you might be new. Welcome to chat. Yeah, it says your first time chat. Hello, Alex. Welcome to stream. We're playing Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Basically, vampire politics. I saw a vampire, so I hopped in. Nice. Same. Very similar vibes. Hope your day is going well. What voice was I doing for Qadir again? Oh yeah. Don't move. Wait. Don't move a muscle. Try to break free, try to warn Sana. Well, Sana's already on the train, so I don't think it really matters. Trying to break free is probably a bad idea. Let's just stay still. Opting to play it cool for now, you stay perfectly still. As your muscles relax, so does the grip on your shoulder. There we go. Nice and easy. Right, I was doing Southern, but now for some reason my vocal cords have forgotten how to do Southern. Southern Belle. Nice and easy. There we go. Going pretty well indeed. Getting through work and then running my finale for my Vampire the Masquerade recording tonight. Nice! Once again you look over at D'Angelo. He looks ahead with a pained expression on his face. Oh, I'm curious, D'Angelo. How exactly did you think this was gonna play out? You put the girl on the train, she gets picked up by her Chicago friends, magically gets better, I'm none the wiser, and we all live happily ever after? Love Qadir, the threatening, handsome, baseball-loving goofball. I have mixed feelings about Qadir. Sometimes he seems nice and chill, and then sometimes he seems the opposite of chill. And also, as a rule, like, I just kind of hate enforcers of the law in any universe. Yeah, that's accurate. He tightens his grip on your shoulder and gives you a little shake. At least this one has the excuse of being young and stupid. But you should fucking know better. Oh yeah, Vampire the Masquerade sheriffs are like 10 times worse, lol. Qadir ain't so bad, though. He gets more personal in the second game. Right, I forgot, this has a sequel, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to play that eventually. Because, like, I've played Bloodlines, and haven't played Swansong yet, but I've seen a playthrough of it, so I'm pretty familiar with the plot. And it doesn't seem like they're connected, except for, like, general lore. 2 of them. Interesting. I didn't know that. I knew about the Reckoning of New York, but I didn't know there was another one. No, they're all independent. There's 3 New York set games. Oh, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think Swansong's set in New York, but I can't remember now. There's also Redemption that is older, and that one you play as Kristoff, who starts as a crusader and then wakes up in modern day. That's interesting. Might have to look into that. If you brought her to me, this would have been over quickly, painlessly. As it stands now, I can't guarantee it. Qadir is so bad, then why did evil music start playing as soon as he shows up? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because he is the not villain, of course. Oh, the hot villain. Read that as an N for some reason. He is the hot villain, of course. This is Vampire, all the threatening people are hot. Fair enough, yeah. I have to say, as a lesbian, I am immune, but yeah, he's pretty good looking. It's on Good Old Games. I haven't heard of that, but yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, just wait, there's some nice fan presenting people too. Yeah, I love Hope. I love Hope so much. She's hot. I love her tattoos. I love her vibe. Also, Sophie's pretty hot too, although I don't trust her as a person. As the wheels of the train start rolling, you notice a familiar silhouette in one of the train windows. Valerie, the Scourge, smiles at you. She looks sickeningly eager, like a fox who's found its way to the hen house. She blows you a kiss as the train rolls its way out of the station. Valerie ratted us out. The fucking bitch. I do not like her. I didn't like her from the very first moment I saw her. It was instant bad vibes. I knew something like this was going to happen. Now then, what am I supposed to do with you? Should we double down? Should we apologize? Or should I take the blame for it? It was kind of my idea. Well, I mean, I wasn't the first person who came up with it, but, like, I was the one who decided it was going to be the thing we did. But I also do think that we did the right thing. We did what was right. Don't expect an apology. When you reach my age, Fledgling, you learn it's better not to expect anything. Ever. So here's what's gonna happen. You fucked up. Big time. I'm counting this as a one-time make-or-break strike on both of your records. Yeah, he describes everything in baseball metaphors. From now on, I will be keeping an eye on you. If I catch either of you so much as farting in a way that displeases me, I promise you will not wake up the next night. In the meantime, I fully expect you to make up for this. You're on thin fucking ice, and I want to see some nice twirling and tiptoeing around before I let you back onto firm ground. Limber up, kiddos. So he's just gonna let us go. I mean, yeah, he did say, like, you're on thin ice, whatever, but, like, we're not gonna be murdered for this. That went a lot better than I thought it would. You feel the grip on your shoulder loosen. With Qadir's hands no longer in your peripheral vision, you turn back. As one would expect, there's no sign of the sheriff anywhere. Once more, you turn to D'Angelo. He remains as he was, looking ahead, staring off into space. What? What? You killed who? What? Hang on. Oh my god, Zara. Hi. Hi. Thanks for that. Now it's stuck in my head again. I just finished not thinking about it. I was in the zone and now it's in my head again. God damn it. Yeah. Yeah. It's catchy. Alright, where are we? I'm behind on chat, sorry. It's covering the screen now because there's like too many messages, so I'm probably gonna have to reset it. Where are we? I love Hope too. Sophie is that dangerous hot. Yeah, she definitely is. There are also games for Werewolves of the Apocalypse that are the same style. I don't remember if you find out in this game, but Qadir is a huge Mets fan. Yeah, I think we do find that out. Oh, gotta go take care, folks. Sorry, you've probably left by now, but bye, young lady. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Good thing he's a vampire. If he's a Mets fan, he'll have to wait lifetimes between the World Series wins from them. Yeah, I mean, I personally think being a fan of baseball is a waste of your immortality, but whatever, different strokes. I have to share my suffering. It's a contagion. Yeah, literally. By the way, for those of you watching this who haven't seen The Substance yet, you really need to see it. It's a really good movie. Even if you're not like a horror person, I still recommend seeing it. Like, it is kind of gross and like hard to stomach in places, but you get through it and it's worth it, trust me. It's really brilliantly done. Okay, so who did this bitch kill? I killed her. Oh, is he talking about Sana? Like, because they know where she is now. I don't know. I mean, I hope that she gets to where she's going. I hope. But I guess maybe not. I don't know. Qadir and Valerie killed her. If they are going to kill her, like, if she's not going to make it out of this, even though we put her on the train, it's not on us. It's not our fault. You tried to save her. If anyone's the killer here, it's Qadir and Valerie. Qadir just does what he's ordained to do. Or, no, I forgot the voice. Qadir does what he's ordained to do. And as for Valerie, she's just a tool. Yeah, well, see, those aren't excuses, my guy. Those aren't excuses. Being a tool of the system, in fact, like, is, I would say, the very opposite of an excuse. It is the problem. I can't be mad at a scorpion for using its stinger. No, this one's on me. I resent that. I resent the, what's the word? Naturalization? Is that a word? But I resent the, like, making corruption and, like, carceral law and, like, the death penalty and, like, all the shit that's going on here. I resent, like, all of that being naturalized. Like, where he's saying, like, I can't be mad at a scorpion for using his stinger. Like, I don't believe that people are naturally vicious or naturally evil or naturally schemers or backstabbers. Like, no, you learn that shit. That's not, like, you're not born with it. It's not ingrained in you. It's taught to you by society and by the people you're surrounded by and the people you're influenced by. It's not the same thing as a scorpion being born a scorpion and then using its stinger. I really thought I could save her. Not really knowing what to say, you lift your hand and pat him on the back. You stop yourself mid-motion. Somehow it doesn't seem like the thing to do. Yeah, maybe not. You leave the station and head back to Red Hook. On your way, you keep thinking about Sana and whether now is the exact moment where Valerie brings her final death. It's not a pleasant journey. Slowly, clumsily, you make your way back to the grain terminal. No words are spoken, no bad jokes made, no monologues muttered, and no smiles exchanged. There's only silence and vacant stares. As you head up the stairs to D'Angelo's office, you can feel the tension rising. You can tell the moldy sleuth has reached a breaking point. He walks into his office and leans against his cluttered desk. You figure now is as good a time as any to break the silence. Are you gonna be okay? The moment you finish your sentence, D'Angelo leans over and sweeps all of his stuff off the desk. Right, now he has to have his, like, classic, like, angsty, like, detective rage moment because he, like, failed to save a life and he has to have his, like, moment of brooding. Notepads, bits of paper, and what look like a cheap imitation of an antique lamp. It all comes crashing to the floor. It doesn't stop there, as he grabs a heavy file cabinet and knocks it over. Slowly but surely, the once quiet office turns into a heap of crumpled paper and broken furniture. The tantrum lasts for mere minutes, but as you stand there watching, it feels like forever. Finally, D'Angelo stops and looks up at the ceiling. It's hard to tell if he's had enough, or simply run out of stuff to throw around. Yeah, if we weren't vampires, I would say this is a massive red flag. But you're kind of just... Things are kind of different when you're a member of the undead. Violence is just kind of... I wouldn't say natural, but... Yeah, it's kind of normalized. It's just kind of whatever. As he stands there, slowly regaining composure, one of the objects scattered on the floor catches your eye. Sorry, I keep having to alternate between the chat and this thing. The game. Where are we? Being a fan of baseball is a waste of immortality, is sick burning against baseball. It's true, though. The best, where are we? Charlotte braved it, even though she's not into horror, and then we talked about it for ages the other night. Nice. The best movies are the movies that you can talk about with people for ages. Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree. This is probably how I feel about baseball. No shade. That's also how I feel about baseball. I really don't understand the appeal. That's kind of like that. I'm kind of like that with all sports, to be honest. I mean, it's Vampire the Masquerade. He could also be too hungry to talk to someone. And then the Beast is like lunchtime. Yeah, there is that. There is the fact that, like, if we're going by Vampire the Masquerade rules, like, especially, like, in Bloodlines, you have the, what am I saying? You have the humanity system. It's actually, like, a general point system, and if you lose all your points, then, like, your beast gets unleashed, and you basically have no control over yourself. So there is a kind of, like, nature-nurture thing where, like, some of your nature as a vampire is out of your control, but, like, I do think that most of the decisions that, like, characters make in this game are... You can't chalk it up to nature. You can't chalk it up to, like, a scorpion with its stinger. Like, it's just... That's human nature, as ironic as it sounds. Like, it's making decisions that are arguably, like, very human, being, like... Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought because chat keeps going and then I keep getting distracted. Sorry. Like, it's like, you know, like, arguably, like, making, like, shitty decisions that are, like, cruel to people and, like, backstabby and, like, going behind people's backs and scheming and all that stuff. Arguably, that's very human. That is all very, like, human. Because, like, we live in a society. I wouldn't say it's inherent to human nature, like, I'm not saying it's natural. What I'm saying by saying it's human is it's, like, it's a part of human society that, like, we made up, kind of. Or certain people, some people made up into certain parts of society. Like, and it kind of weaves into, like, Western individualism and capitalism and stuff like that, but anyways. Well, at least it's not violent. There are rare fights, but the league treats those very seriously. Not like hockey, they still feature the fights in the games on the highlight reels. Well, sure, yeah, but, like, I still think it's boring. Like, fights or no fights, like, I think sports are boring. I'm sorry, like, I don't like watching them. I think they're kind of boring. Like, anyways. Oh, I don't know. I think there's something to say about being naturalized, though. Because, like, this is fiction. So that is a narrative choice that means things. Yeah, in a story. Like, the whole humanity switch thing in Bloodlines is an interesting part of the story as well, because, like, what does that say? What is that trying to say, right? Like, we could have this conversation once I stream Bloodlines, because I am going to in November, but it was supposed to be in this month, but I ran out of time, and I want to, like, play the Quarry now, so that's taking precedent. But, you know, it's like, everything that's written into a game, or into any story, means something. think I might have to dissect it more later on when we get to Bloodlines, but, like, I think, like, the whole concept of the beast and the fact that, like, your humanity is actually, like, a point system is interesting, because, like, what is humanity, and, like, what makes someone human, and what is, like, a human choice that would make you gain humanity versus an inhuman choice that makes you lose humanity is highly subjective and cultural, and based in, like, different societal understandings of, like, what is, like, good and what is bad. I would say that, like, a lot of people do have, like, common general understandings of, like, things that are bad and you shouldn't do, like murder, and things that are good that you should do, like being kind to people. In theory, but that's not necessarily something that everyone does, but in theory it's something that lots of people understand as something that is good. But, like, then, like, you can even pick that apart as well, because, like, kindness towards people who are not being kind to you, or kindness towards people who are not being kind to others, is arguably not a good thing to do, because then you're just, like, people pleasing and being a doormat and allowing, like, toxic and bad behavior to fester and reoccur, right? I don't know if that makes sense. Have either of you watched The Children of Men? That movie will make you think. Yeah, Steve's talked to me about The Children of Men before. I still haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. I'll need to get around to it eventually, but I do still want to watch it. Oh, I'm insane about climbing, though, so maybe I get it even though I don't get it. Yeah, it's understandable. I've never been a sporty girly. Like, I did dance and gymnastics, and I loved that, but that was as sporty as I got. Everything else, I'm just like, it's not my vibe, it's not my bag. Love a movie that makes me think, though. Oh, you haven't seen it either, Sarah. Okay, cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yeah, but I do plan to see it at some point. Yep, and then you become white if you lose all your humanity. I actually don't know that term. I'm not super familiar with all of, like, Vampire the Masquerade lore. And then you have Pisha in Bloodlines, who is barely a regular person. I have mixed feelings about that, because, yeah, she is, like, eating people, and, like, she's very, like, nonchalant about it, but what she says, like, why, like, she talks about, like, does the tiger, like, feel sympathy for its prey if it wanders into its den? Like, does the tiger mourn the animal it hunts? I think she says. Like, she's basically, like, saying, look, human beings are our food source. Why should we feel bad about killing them? Human beings don't feel bad about killing animals for their meat, which I think isn't it. I don't think she brings up that exact point, but I do think it's, like, important to connect that. Like, and, like, animals don't feel bad about killing other animals for their food source, because it's just, like, nature. It's the circle of life or whatever. So why should we feel bad for people? Why should we mourn humans for draining their blood because, like, we're just eating? We're just, like, participating in an ecosystem like any living, or I guess unliving creature would. And I think that's an interesting argument, because it without even meaning to, it challenges, like, anthropomorphism. Is that the right term? Or anthropocentrism? I think I used the wrong word. Anthropocentrism it might be, or, like, anthrosupremacy. Whatever word means, like, human beings tend to think of themselves as, like, inherently, like, better than animal kind and more worthy of XYZ, or, like, you know? White is just, like, a feral vampire. Yeah, I figured based on context that might be the case, yeah. Anthropocentrism, right. Thank you, Sarah, yeah. Oh, so I think Pisha's a Malkavian, or she's implied to be. Or maybe I just interpreted her as a Malkavian because she seems a little, like, neurospicy, in the sense that maybe she's not, like, entirely, like, operating on, like, on, like, a level of, like, general sanity from what we might describe as regular sanity. Now, Pisha is Nagaraha, is that how you say it? I'm not sure. I've never heard it pronounced out loud. They're the only ones who eat flesh. Right, I forgot about the flesh eating. She's not just drinking blood, she's also consuming human flesh. Nagaraja. Do you pronounce the J? Sorry, I was trying to do the Spanish thing of pronouncing the J like an H, but maybe that was incorrect. Or Nagaraha. Yeah, you do. You do pronounce the J? Oh, okay. It's Naga Raja. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. Nagaraja. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm caught up. As he stands there, slowly regaining composure, one of the objects scattered on the floor catches your eye. It's a small paperback novel, the same... Oh, I just realized I forgot to read Sarah's message that said, murder is okay sometimes. I did read it, I just didn't read it out loud. Yeah, I agree, murder is sometimes okay, just as a treat. Like, I'm not trying to say, like, generally, like, murder is always wrong. Like, in self-defense, like, murder is justified, and, like, to overthrow our oppressors, sometimes we must engage in violence. So obviously, like, murder is not always bad. But I was thinking more in the sense of, like, murdering, like, killing someone who is, like, defenseless, or, like, not attacking you, like, someone who is actively, like, not posing a threat to you. It's a small paperback novel, the same you saw Sana reading earlier tonight. It must have landed there while D'Angelo was giving the room a royal thrashing. You pick it up in huge letters. The title on the cover spells The Longest Night and Other Stories. The smaller caption underneath reads, another collection of stories from the Gianni D'Angelo saga. What in the actual fuck? You flip it over and are immediately drawn to the picture on the back cover. If not for a lack of flaky skin and distorted features, you'd say the guy looks very familiar. Oh! Did he publish a book before he was turned into a Nosferatu? The name next to the picture, Reginald Finch. You stand there, not even knowing where to start. Even in his current state, D'Angelo, or whatever his name is, remains one step ahead of you. Yeah, that's me in the picture. Reggie fucking Finch. Haven't seen him in a while. Wasn't planning to. You took on the name of your character. That's interesting. You named yourself after one of your characters? Afraid it's more than that. I sort of became him. See, Reggie Finch was a pushover. Small-time journalist and a wannabe writer. He would never survive out there, among the Coteries of New York. Gianni D'Angelo, on the other hand. That's interesting. Honestly, it just sort of happened. Guess it was the only way I could make sense of it all. Yeah, I completely understand that, and that's, like... That's interesting because it reminds me of, like, the trans allegory of vampirism that we sometimes talk about, right? Like, your old self dies, and then you come back to life as someone new, someone different. And, like, you're in a lot of ways ostracized and separated from your old life. Sometimes you have to cut yourself off from your old family members because they don't understand who you are now and they wouldn't be able to accept it. A lot of times you change your name, like D'Angelo. I mean, once you wake up looking like this, realizing your life and all that you were is gone forever, you can't really blame me for trying to at least make it interesting. It's okay to be D'Angelo. I guess to some extent we all put on an act in front of others. We make up characters, idealized versions of ourselves. It gives us something to live up to. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's so weird, but it's not that weird. D'Angelo? Yeah, I guess the question is which version of yourself feels the most authentic and which one you want to be, then, like, just pick that version. For a moment, he seems to be mulling over what you just told him. Finally, he picks the ashtray up off the floor. Rummaging through the ashes, he finds a mangled, half-finished cigar. He sticks it in his mouth and lights up, the lighter's flame reflecting in his shades. He smiles at you ever so slightly. Thanks, kid. Tell you what, how about you take the rest of the night off? I need some time to get my shit in order. Starting with his office. Some dumb assholes made one hell of a mess of it. You smile and nod. He nods back. I'll be seeing you. And so, you leave him to his thoughts. No way to be sure, but you have a feeling. It's gonna be alright. Alright, I just got an achievement saying I completed D'Angelo's quest line, so we're good. Yeah, I need to rest. We just have the side missions left now. I don't know how much longer we'll have, but... So we might not be able to finish the reporter storyline or the stalking storyline. We definitely don't have time to do the church situation because that's probably going to take at least a few parts, and we're already on night 13, so yeah, we're not going to be able to get to that, and we need to rest now. It's the name of the game. Yeah, I love it when they do that, when they say the name of the game. Or when they say something very close to it, but not quite. Like the infamous, like, life is weird, or like, life is so not fair. It always makes me laugh. You arrive at the Leech Pit, finding it less rowdy than the last time. The bar is still packed, but the dance floor is empty tonight. Instead, the old, crackling speakers are playing music that would probably sound like noise even on high-end software. Or hardware, sorry. Mia's nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requested that you ask for her at the bar. You approach the bar as the bartender finishes pouring a beer for an older guy in a faded, fraying Iron Maiden t-shirt. She turns to you. What can I get you? Hey, is Mia around? No, she's not in tonight. She looks you up and down and a spark of recollection shines in her eye. Oh yeah, that's right. She takes a well-worn book from behind the counter, some kind of YA vampire novel, and flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages and passes it to you. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it, but you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the Leech Pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude, tattoo sleeve on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer, sent here to spy on us by the camp. Get me the name of his master and write it on this card, then return it to the bar. Doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce guy. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. Okay, maybe let's not just like feed on the bar patron like right in front of him. Maybe that's not the move. Alright, get him drunk and talkative is a good shout. This is the fault of Game Assist, not gonna lie. I've started using Britishisms, or like, I think some of them are Britishisms, like just things I've heard the various members of Game Assist say, and good shout is one of them. Or we could, use presence to strike up a conversation. I doubt he's gonna tell us if we ask for his master's name up front. Sorry, no, it's fine. It's funny because, like, I have, like, a Canadian/American, like, Western accent, and then sometimes I say, like, bin instead of trash can, and it's, like, someone's confused here. I think I'm gonna go with presence, strike up a conversation. The man immediately notices you, but doesn't move from his spot. The other seats are empty. When you focus the blood to boost your attractiveness, it's not just Bruce who notices. He's into you, so are other people, doing double takes as they pass your table. What voice am I doing for you? Hey, you. Have I seen you here before? It's my first night here. Might as well be honest. I don't think so. It's my first night here. Hey, I'm lucky I'm here tonight then. Ask him about the name nicely. I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. It'd make me really happy if you gave me their name. What? Do you mean Sam? He catches himself, realizes what you're doing. His eyes dart over your shoulder. Oh, Christ. You thought you had him cornered, but he suddenly leaps over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up to him outside. He is vaulting, all right. Celerity, catch up to him. Throwing caution to the wind, you focus your blood and give chase after Bruce. He might be faster than a human, but his abilities are a fraction of yours. I forget, are retainers vampires? Or are they ghouls? He might be a ghoul, because, like, of the mention of he's faster than a human, but his abilities are nothing compared to yours. Yeah. He dashes into a nearby alley. Wait, I think it's in the dictionary, right? Yeah, Baron and Retainer we haven't read yet. At its most basic, a Baron is a strong Anarch who controls territory and wields authority over those living in it. That's interesting, because I thought Anarchs didn't have any leaders. One of the most common types of Barons is a Lich who has a city, neighborhood, or even just a building. The other common type is a Baron who attempts to control an entire city on his own. A local strongman. He behaves suspiciously like a Camarilla prince. Yeah, I was going to say that. Retainer, a human who serves a vampiric master. Kindred rarely go without at least a few of these mortals, both for convenience and protection. Yeah, so probably a ghoul. He dashes into a nearby alley, and you follow suit. Before he can jump the fence, you tackle him to the ground. A short brawl later, you're standing a few meters apart, Bruce eyeing you with hatred. Tell him his cover's blown or intimidate him with violence. I don't know. Well, we tried the intimidation thing with the reporter guy, and clearly that didn't work, so... I don't know, we could still try telling him that his cover's blown and just be, like... I don't know. Listen, your cover's blown. I was told who you are. You better come clean. Your master's name, that's all I need. Bullshit. Besides, she'd kill me if I told you. And I quite like being alive. Here's the deal. You tell me your master's name, and you save yourself a world of hurt. Unless you want to exit this alley on a stretcher, you better. Okay, we jump straight to the threatening then. Whack. Bruce doesn't wait for you to finish talking. He jumps at you, kicking and punching with dizzying speed. It takes you by surprise, and he puts you on the defensive. Wow, okay then, fine. Just as you're about to retaliate, he breaks away and jumps the fence at the end of the alley and is gone into parts of the city unknown. Shit, I should have just threatened him immediately. Well, we did get his name, so the informant's name, I think, so... Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and flip Mia's note to the other side. Sam, and you know it's a she. That still leaves a lot of options. You could pull a name out of your ass or let Mia figure it out. Do we know any Samanthas or Samiras? I don't think so. Might as well not make guesses. Might as well just leave Mia all the info you have. Mia asks you for a name, but if all you have is a fragment and the gender, it'll have to do. You jot down a note. Bruce referred to his master as Sam and called her she. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on a second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Oh right, and this. An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. They really did think of everything. She said she'll be in touch. It takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing, and you find that it's phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no saved messages. It's got a version of Snake though. What's Snake? Is that a Vampire the Masquerade thing, or is it a reference to something old that I don't get because I was born in very, very, very late '99? But yeah, looks like it's an old Nokia game. I think I might have seen this before, actually. We figured it out. See, I never had a Nokia because I didn't have a cell phone until I was like 13. And by then, we were already on to iPhones. Not that I got an iPhone first, though. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your Anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully your educated guesses based on the scraps of info you collected will be enough for me to call you. Alright, thankfully that's only half the night, so we can still do one more thing. Should we try and meet with the reporter and wrap this up, or should we meet with my stalker? Depends on how long it's gonna take. Like, you've had enough of Adelaide Davis. It's time for you to head to Elysium and confront her with Sophie by your side. Okay, I don't want to be too mean, because, like, she's not really dangerous from what it seems. Like, she's just lonely. So yeah, let's do this. Visiting Elysium with Sophie is always a humbling experience. She's connected, well-known, important. You're a nobody. You've always known this, of course, but it's especially apparent when you arrive with her. Everyone notices her, and she drinks it in like it's her birthright. That's Adelaide Davis. Let's go say hello. You spot the woman Sophie is referring to. Adelaide, your stalker, intense, disheveled, young-looking, a Malkavian, if you've understood correctly. As you approach, Adelaide smiles at you with a darting look of distaste towards Sophie. Don't worry, I don't judge people by the company they keep. That's sweet of you, darling. Let me say this straight. You can't keep doing what you've been doing. You have to leave my poor ward alone. Adelaide looks from Sophie to you and giggles. The sound must be rare in Elysium because it makes people glance toward you. I know she's making you do this. Don't worry, we'll be together again. Later. Okay, I already have someone. Let's stay friends. Let's try a normal date next time. Well, I don't already have someone, that's a lie. I don't necessarily want to entirely shut her down, but we need to, like, set some boundaries in place. Let's try... This game you play is too much for me. Let's go on a normal date next time. Sophie turns slowly to look at you, not as disapprovingly as you expected. Perhaps she thinks you're playing a social game like the kindred often do. Oh, I'm sorry. Adelaide looks serious, as if you forced her out of her comfort zone. I admit, playing games is easier for me. But I appreciate it. Let's go on a date some night. Adelaide smiles at you shyly and walks away. Sophie waits a moment before speaking. I hope you know what you're doing. Let me know how it goes. I suppose this will be good for a laugh in these tedious times. Sophie, don't be so mean, for God's sakes. You're fairly certain that you accomplished your goal of getting Adelaide to stop harassing you with strange surprises. Whether she'll hold you to the date, only time will tell. Yeah, that's the end of the night. Alright, so we need to rest. Oh! Oh shit, I got like a bunch of follows. Holy fucking shit, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry guys, my bad. CJ45, bunch of numbers, followed me, thank you. Wanting Deli followed me. Soifuzz followed me. Garish Shading followed me. Thanks, guys. Randy Regnu followed me. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Thank you. The Anxiety Official 67, I love that, followed me an hour ago. Thanks. White Telix followed me. Thank you. Gotti Qua followed me. Sorry, I think I might have mispronounced that. Thanks for the follow. Not Pando followed me. Thank you. Ender Shadow Airlines followed me. And Alex the DM 89 followed me. Thank you for all of the follows. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to take a quick break.